And if we don't cultivate, pull the weeds, they grow up and they tend to choke it out. They grow up and that's the what whispers. The weeds are what whispers. That's not real. You don't really want that anyway. You're never going to change. It can't be any different. That makes you feel uncomfortable. You don't want to be rejected, do you? Whatever the phrase is. And we start believing all that. Okay, that's true. And so our struggling cornstalk tries to survive, but is always being choked out. Then sometimes we have a service, an event. Yes, that's right. I got to pull all these weeds. And it looks great for a little while, but we just pulled the weeds at the ground level and we didn't get the root out. And the root is going to make the weed come back. So sometimes what happens is we're doing all this stuff. That's all great. We're looking really good. We realize, oh, there's some problems. I got to deal with this problem. I got this addiction. I got this hang up. I got this anger issue. I got this insecurity issue. I got this whatever issue. I got a problem. Because a lot of times if you go back to it, like debt can be an insecurity issue, right? Or there's all kinds of issues. And what it is that we deal with these surface issues all the time when that's not even the issue. The issue is the root issue that keeps causing that to grow, right? And so we get up here, we pull all the weeds out, and they're like, hey, this is great. But we wonder, why did I keep going back? Why do I keep having the same struggle? I mean, I pulled that weed 19 times. It keeps coming back. That's because the root never disappeared. It never died. Sometimes we need spiritual healing. We need things like what we call living free, celebrate recovery, those kind of things. Sometimes we need to go through a process of where God identifies a root in us and God heals that root in us so we can actually walk in freedom. Instead of just keep pulling the weed and trying to maintain the weed and keeping the weed mowed off at ground level. The reason you keep struggling with the same old stuff is because the weed doesn't go away yet. You got to get rid of the root so the weed stays going.